If you want to be a homeowner in the DFW area, you better watch this video first because we're going to be breaking down the must-knows, insights, and the practical advice to help you navigate the Dallas housing market so you can be well informed before signing on that dotted line. All the concerns and information that I'm going to be talking about have come up when helping my clients secure a home here. One of the most important things is the last thing that we're going to be talking about, so you want to stay tuned for that. If you're looking to move here, your major first step would be to narrow down the areas that you would like to live in, right? So researching the city's housing market, examining market trends, provide insight into the stability of the housing market so you can identify whether prices are steadily increasing, they're stabilizing, or experiencing volatility. This will help you move forward making decisions about your relocation plans. Now, some areas you may find that you have more power to negotiate. Some areas are a little bit more competitive and you won't have much of an advantage. The Dallas-Fort Worth metro area is so huge, you guys. Like, all these cities vary from one another. And one has more demand, one has less demand. So you don't want to go into an area that has more demand thinking you have all this negotiating power. That's just honestly going to be a waste of time. And that's why you have to have the right expectations when you're coming into the market. Is it the summertime market where, you know, houses are flying by faster? Is it wintertime where there could be less inventory, but, you know, you have more room to negotiate? So the markets vary from seasonality, from city to city. There's so many factors, and I usually do help my clients navigate through that, looking at all the data that we have on our back end on our MLS. That's like part of the research that we do before we actually start looking at houses. Hey guys, if you're new here, my name is Shanza and you're watching the Life in Dallas channel, where we talk about all things living in the Dallas metro, and your girl here is a real estate agent here in the DFW area. So don't hesitate to reach out to me, you guys, regarding your buying or selling needs. All my contacts will be down in the description box below. It's best to reach me via my questionnaire forms, so make sure you fill those out. If you guys need any help with your buying or selling needs, I'll be more than happy to help you guys. Speaking of areas and cities, the traffic and the commute time, that's something that you're going to have to pay attention to here. The DFW is known for its sprawling layout, which can result in significant commute times and traffic congestion, especially during rush hours. So consider the distance between your potential home and your workplace, as well as access to your day-to-day necessities, schools. Map out directions at various times from your house. One thing I tell my clients to do is map out the direction from this house to your work. Because if we're going like at 2 or 3, it might not be a lot of rush and you think, oh, that's 30 minutes from my job. When you put the departure time at like 7 a.m., it's like a 45-minute hour drive. So that 30 minutes can easily turn into an hour. And then nearby construction and things like that could add to that time. The next thing I have to mention is the foundation stability here. Now, the Dallas-Fort Worth clay-like soil expands and contracts with moisture levels potentially causing foundation issues like cracks, shifts. It's common for homeowners to water their foundation during dry periods to help maintain that moisture level in the soil with like soaker hoses, and make sure that the home has proper drainage as well. Now, some people from different areas, they come to Texas and they're like, oh, that's a major red flag. That house has foundation problems. A lot of the older homes here have previous foundation work done on it. So it's very common for houses to have like settling and things like that. Sometimes it's something that you don't even want to mess with, because to be honest, sometimes the inspector would maybe call out some issues in this area of the house, and then you'll get a foundation company to go out there and you can get 4 quotes or 5 quotes. I guarantee you not one of those quotes are going to be the same in measurement and their remedies. They're out there to make a deal happen. I mean, we have several cases where the inspector flagged a certain area. Then we had, you know, foundation companies go out there giving us crazy quotes. And then we had a structural engineer go out there who is non-biased, who is out there to, you know, verify the structural integrity of that house, right? They're saying you don't need to do anything. In fact, if you do something, you might mess up things more. So if you do run into a potential issue when you're buying a house, always recommend a structural engineer. So by understanding the importance of foundation maintenance, being proactive in preventative measures, and conduct inspections, buyers can be relieved and enjoy home ownership here in Texas, right? Me and so many other people could probably agree on this, but we're experiencing low quality new builds here, you guys. I mean, you would think that a new build would perform better than a home that was built in, say, 2010. But I've seen that that is not the case a lot of the times. Due to the rapid growth and supply chain issues, these builders have been cutting corners, you guys. Builders vary in reputation and quality. So seek homes constructed by established builders with a history of workmanship, you know, research their track record, read their reviews, and consider hiring a reputable home inspector for the new builds. Even if the builder gets their own inspector. You always want to have your own inspector to do that. Sometimes one inspector will catch something that the other one doesn't. So it's better safe to be sorry, right? And that's why I always recommend the 3-phase inspection if you are building from ground up. That way we can catch anything that's wrong in the beginning phases and not have the house already built and then you have like some electrical or plumbing issues. So that is a major step that I always recommend to people, especially nowadays when I'm seeing like these $1 million homes in like, say, the Prosper Frisco area, new construction homes having major problems, and they're really selling those homes off. Speaking of new construction homes, a lot of these new construction homes will probably be in HOAs. Boy, do those HOAs piss me off sometimes, you guys. Some people really deter away from HOAs. I mean, it really has pros and cons, okay? For example, when we had moved into our neighborhood was like probably like halfway built, and our annual HOA was like 600. Right now that our community is like 90% built, the HOA is 1900, and it's probably going to go up again next year and the year after that. And obviously it's understandable to go up a little bit, you know, to account for inflation and everything like that. But with growing communities, I've seen that they raise the price more frequently than communities that are already established. That's absolutely ridiculous to me, like $600 to almost $2,000 a year. And our management has changed too. And apparently this new management is a little bit more stricter than before, and they need more money to keep up with the community. So the HOA fees when you move into a neighborhood can fluctuate. And on top of that, you have to abide by their bylaws and everything. For example, for us, I'm giving you my personal experience. So your trees that are in front of your house, like, or your bushes, if they're dying, that's a violation. You're gonna have to fix that ASAP. So in our neighborhood, it's a rule that every house has to have a tree in front of it, right? One of the branches was like drying up, and they're like, okay, no, that tree needs to be replaced. So we had to replace that whole tree, and we could not find, it was only like 2 or 3 kinds of trees that you could put up there. So to find that special little tree, we had to like drive hour and a half, and it was like around $400, and it was a small little tree. I didn't even know that trees cost that much, to be honest. So we had to deal with that, and then we had to deal with getting new bushes as well. It's annoying having to keep up with everything. And then our garage color was wearing off by the rain, and they're like, oh, you need to repaint your garage color, or that's another violation. And I'm like, damn, like, you were not letting us breathe, sir. So there's definitely things like that they want you to keep up with. There's always 2 sides of the coin, right? I mean, you're having like all these amenities and everything, your neighborhoods look really nice, but then again, you have to deal with like, you know, having to be on top of it when it comes to your house. And then the fact that you have to get HOA approval for anything that you do on the exterior of your home. So if you're building a deck, if you're building a pool, HOA has to approve that first before anything. So you can't just go ahead and paint your house black because it has to be approved by the HOA. So they want everything to be conforming. It does kind of play into the resale value as well, because so many of my clients picked HOA neighborhoods versus non-HOA neighborhoods because it had amenities. It just looked more sleek, and it was just kind of looked nicer, and that's why they preferred that. So they didn't mind paying the HOA dues and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, like I said, be aware that they can raise those rates anytime that they want. Another major thing here in the DFW area is the dang weather conditions, you guys. We had some extreme weather here recently, which includes freezes, hail, tornadoes, which leads to heavy winds and then thunderstorms. So have an expectation that your roof, windows, garages, doors, your wooden gates may go through some tough times. I had a client in Frisco repair his whole roof due to the storm that hit in 2022, I believe. And then we had another bad hailstorm just in March. And unfortunately, I'm realizing that's becoming more common because these past 3 years, you guys, every year it's like we have a hailstorm. So you need to be aware of those things. I mean, a few weeks ago, we had like hail that was literally like this big. I swear, I kid you not. Those bad weather conditions lead me to my next point, which is homeowners insurance. So your homeowners insurance will obviously vary from zip codes that are more prone to like extreme weather or just property damage in general. So the homeowners here, even if they didn't have any claims on their insurance still went up. Almost double, you guys, what they were paying due to the freezes in the past, due to the recent massive hailstorms, the tornadoes in the area, and, you know, just kind of adjusting for inflation as well. But it honestly sucks that we have to deal with all this and that the roofers are like literally out in droves after hailstorms. And some of them will definitely differ in opinions. So it's always best to get multiple opinions. I had this one roofer saying we needed a whole roof replaced when we really didn't. So if you're coming from an area where you don't really have to deal with that, you may see like an uptick in your homeowner's insurance when you're coming here. Speaking of homeowners insurance expense, another expense that we all dread are those dang property taxes, you guys. And this will vary from city to city, county to county, and the direct community that you're in as well. Okay, the property tax ratio ranges from 1.8 to 3+%. Now you also have to factor in if you're living in a mud or PID, that's more tax. And mud or PIDs are basically special taxing districts established to fund and manage specific areas and infrastructures within a certain area that may include like utilities, roads, parks, landscaping, public safety enhancements, and other public improvements. A lot of the new construction communities will have like special districts, so be on the lookout for that. Now obviously the revenue helps to maintain the quality of schools, support infrastructure projects, and ensure the overall attractiveness and desirability of the communities. It can also be a financial burden on property owners, particularly those with limited incomes. However, exemptions and recent policy changes aim to alleviate some of this financial burden for homeowners, such as the homestead exemption, which applies if that house is your primary homestead, and then you also get one if you're 65 years or disabled. And then our government also signed a tax cut bill. The new exemption combined with the school tax cuts would save Texans who live in a residence they own an average of $1,300 a year in property taxes. So the new tax bill that was signed did provide some relief for property taxes for some people, but with the rising property values here, some people, it didn't even feel like it made a dent. Some people saved like $200-$300. Some people saved $1,000. But the tax rates did decrease, which, I mean, hey, at least it didn't increase, right? So it's a good thing we don't have to pay state income tax here on top of that, right? Property tax can definitely be a deal killer here when you're buying a house. If you guys found this video helpful, please make sure to hit the like and hit the subscribe for more content like this. Don't hesitate to reach out to me, you guys. All my contacts will be down in the description box below. Make sure to check out the rest of my channel. It's definitely a resource that I have put together for you guys, you know, going around the DFW area and talking about various different neighborhoods and areas and things like that. So make sure to check that out, you guys, and I will see you in my next video.